11 o'clock. We're getting ready to go here, so welcome everyone. I would like to call to order the Monday, December 2nd, 2024 meeting of the Lake Zurich Village Board. Clerk Johnson, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Poynton?
I'm here.
Trustee Euchre?
Here.
Trustee Marks?
Here.
Trustee Chagru?
Here.
Trustee Wider?
Present.
Trustees Riley and Spicone are absent and excused.
Okay, thank you. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the President's report, and I'm going to take that over at the podium, so bear with me. Okay, first item on the President's report is the Lake Zurich Green Business Award for Alpha Technico. Earlier this year, the Village of Lake Zurich launched its Green Business Award program. Green Business Award recognizes environmentally conscious businesses in the Village of Lake Zurich, organizations that demonstrate exceptional leadership in integrating sustainable practices into their daily business operations, that drive positive change in the Lake Zurich community, driving the broader environment we are part of, and helping clients meet their needs for recycling options. The Village of Lake Zurich is proud to announce Alpha Technico as Lake Zurich's latest winner of the local Green Business Award. I'd like owner Ted Lazakis, owner of Alpha Technico, to join me here. I know he's here someplace.
Right here.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to just stand over here for a second?
Sure.
So, Alpha Technico is a state-of-the-art healthcare-focused manufacturing company based in the Lake Zurich Business Park. It specializes in designing advanced support surfaces for durable medical equipment, such as hospital beds, operating tables, and wheelchairs. The company has integrated eco-friendly practices into its manufacturing processes and is a leader in its field in sustainable innovations, energy efficiency, and the use of environmentally responsible materials. Alpha Technico has embraced numerous green business initiatives across its operation by constructing a new 78,000 square foot headquarter building at 1400 Rose Road that is fully powered by the sun thanks to an array of 444 solar panels generating enough energy to power 30 homes for a year. That construction also includes incorporating sustainable elements into its new headquarters, such as high-efficiency rooftop HVAC units, high-resistance precast concrete panels that increase insulating effectiveness, special emission towers for air purifications, motion-sensitive lighting, and paint that is free of volatile organic compounds. They've also prepared parking areas for eventual installation of EV charging stations. Electrical connections were run to both east and west parking lots to make it easier to install charging stations for employees' future EV purchases. They've conducted careful, intentional building designs that saved more than 2 acres of existing trees on Rose Road. They've launched a native landscaping project by installing no-mow lawn vegetation with perennial plantings on the property. No-mow areas were cultivated on 3 sides of the building using a mix of grasses and plants that are native to the Midwest. They've eliminated the use of styrofoam for packaging and installed low-flow faucets. Alpha Technico also exemplifies community leadership by designing a fully ADA floor plan in its new Lake Zurich headquarters. The Village of Lake Zurich is proud to acknowledge the leadership and dedication to environmental sustainability that Alpha Technico has demonstrated. This thriving Lake Zurich company is a prime example of thinking about the future generations, not just profit, and being an industry leader in environmental protections. So congratulations to Ted and Tia, and thank you for your contribution to making Lake Zurich a greener community. Thank you, Sarah. Ted, you want to say something?
Sure. About 3-4 years ago when we started the process, we're on our third building here in Lake Zurich in the park. One of the things we wanted to do was take what we'd learned and try to live up to our name. Alpha Technico basically means leader in technology in Greek, which is some of my heritage. And so what we tried to do was say, what could we do a little differently than our competition is doing? So first we started looking at all the possible things you can do. We actually thought about doing a green roof and maybe having goats up there and things. That was a bridge too far. It would have cost another $1 million to make the roof strong enough to hold that. But we pretty much did everything else on our wish list. You know, one of the interesting things that the benefits out of it has been certainly reduced operating costs, but the impact it's had on hiring and on the people who are, especially younger people, they really do appreciate that we're doing this, and it really has really helped us bring some people on board that we might not have been able to get otherwise, that are really committed and really pleased with the kind of commitment that we've made. So it may be a little more expensive, but it really does make business sense to do this. We were probably at the bleeding edge because we had to kind of teach our builder and our bank a little bit about how these environmental friendly and sustainable practices were to our benefit. Some of them they just didn't understand, and that really didn't make it easy for us. But now they're all proud and making statements about how they helped us do this, even though they kind of weren't exactly pushing behind us.
Probably taking credit for it too, right?
You betcha. Yes, they are, and they got a nice award for it, our builder. So thanks again. Appreciate all the support from the village. Sarosh and his team and a lot of other people that really were in the background that really helped us meet the challenges of doing something a little bit different.
Good deal.
Thank you again. Thank you again, Tom.
Let's get the picture.
Pictures, I want to go on the inside of it. Interesting. I think it's that much. The greenest building in town. Is there a thing? Yeah, it's just such a square. Square.
You got to give her credit for that. Here, right? Ted's wife designed the building.
She calls it the Louis Vuitton colors.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and up to 5 minutes per speaker. When you step to the podium, if you haven't already done so, please sign in and identify yourself with your name and address. There's nobody on the sign-up list, so I'll offer the opportunity for public comment. If you have any comments relating to the public hearing on consideration of the proposed Village of Lake Zurich annual budget for fiscal 2025, please hold them for that item. You will get an opportunity to comment then. So the same public comment limits will apply there. So moving forward, are there any other public comments tonight? Yes, sir.
Good evening. What is this unknown reason I was practically the only person who attended and commented at the annual budget review meeting held on a Saturday morning, which this village refuses radical transparency for? Yet, despite low attendance, this village refuses to record nor live stream this critical budget presentation for taxpayers' awareness. This is standard operating procedure, SOP, in responsible private businesses. There is no radical transparency in this village. It is a misnomer. Let us talk about eminent domain. In the early 2000s, Lake Zurich threatened businesses and homeowners with eminent domain. Lake Zurich became a real estate developer of sorts, taking a lot of property off the market using our tax dollars, and wanted to make grandiose plans. Fast forward decades later, and Lake Zurich still hasn't learned its lesson. This includes Block A. Next to the Promenade Park, $4 million boondoggle in the downtown. Lake Zurich failed to resell this property like for like. Instead, it combined it into a mega parcel, which never sells. This property, which previously consisted of multiple parcels with a mix of separate buildings with restaurants and housing, instead, Lake Zurich instituted a corporate welfare scheme, which continues to this day around town. And the village apparently doesn't know how to run an auction. In other words, a buyer of this stolen property will receive a subsidy, a welfare payment on the backs of Lake Zurich taxpayers. This is called a TIF, aka tax increment financing. You might wonder why I called it stolen property. And that's because the village stole the money from the taxpayers to buy this property and took it off the tax rolls for some 20 plus years. Now, in Argentina, a gentleman was elected there. His name is Javier Milei, and he cares a lot about getting government out of the way. He's quoted as saying, "My contempt for the state is infinite." Well, in this case, the village is the stand-in for the quote-unquote state. He says, "Anything I can do to remove the interference of the state, I'm going to do." And the village is interfering with private property and has disrupted the entire downtown for decades now. A trustee who has been here too long and not as smart nor logical as Captain Spock from Star Trek stated at the November 4th board meeting that this consists of gibberish without context. I've got to laugh. Yet this board likes to hide all that context. Radical transparency is just a talking point and a narrative by politicians like the Biden of Lake Zurich, who only wants to raise taxes and raise their compensation instead of stepping aside to make way for others onto this board who can better represent the village. So to that board member who knows who he is, I'm asking you to get out of the way. To use your own words from that November 4th board meeting, let new ideas take over and let Lake Zurich thrive. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the harassment the village does to homeowners regarding their own property. Instead of letting property owners decide what should go where on their property backyards, they micromanage you with village ordinances and a permit process which disrespects the property owner's rights. Meanwhile, you complain about you complain about a concern violating your rights, like a bright, unbaffled light from a gas station blocks away, shining into a second floor windows for over a year. The unaccountable director of community development does nothing. Over a year. But yet is happy to have his staff harass a homeowner over that which affects nobody. Does anyone see anything wrong with this picture?
Are there any other public comments tonight? Okay, then we'll excuse me, close public comments and move on to the consent agenda. I'm sorry. Yep, got a public hearing first. So the next item on the agenda is the public hearing on consideration of proposed Village of Lake Zurich annual budget for the fiscal year of 2025. I'll read the summary. This is a public hearing for the proposed annual budget for the Village of Lake Zurich's 2025 fiscal year, which will run January 1st through December 31st, 2025. This public hearing was noticed in the Daily Herald on November 22nd, 2024, on the front of the village website and in benchmarks in Facebook. The proposed 2025 budget totals $91.2 million to fund a full-service municipality with 167 full-time employees. The village enjoys a stable financial position. This FY 2025 budget is presented as a balanced operational plan for the next year with a projected operating surplus of just under $4,000 for the general fund. This spending plan strikes a balance between maintaining high-quality municipal services and infrastructure investment. The 2025 budget plan includes $55.5 million for municipal operations, including $10 million for engineering design relating to the Lake Michigan public water supply transition. The 2025 budget also includes another $20 million for infrastructure investment across all funds, including improvements at Paulus and Breezewell Parks, sports courts, bike paths, enhanced crosswalks, water main replacement, and lining the sanitary sewer under Buffalo Creek. The fiscal year 2025 road program includes resurfacing Whitney Road and Lake Zurich Drive, as well as a major resurfacing and streetscaping project along Main Street. A copy of the proposed budget has been available for public review at Village Hall, Ela Area Public Library, and on the village website since November 5th of 2024. All interested persons are invited to attend this public hearing and provide feedback to the village on the proposed budget. So we have two recommended actions. The first one is, may I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing on the fiscal 2025 village budget and receive into the record public comments?
So moved, Marks. We need a roll call first. Roll call.
No, we're, no. We can do a voice vote, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're just opening the meeting right now. Okay? So I need a motion and a second.
So moved,
I'm
Marks.
sorry, who's the second?
Shigru.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. First off, are there any additional staff comments on the budget at this point? Amy, Ray, anybody? No? Okay. Any staff, any trustee comments at this point? Any more? No? Okay. Are there any public comments on the budget? Not seeing anybody get up. Okay. This is pretty simple. So then the next step is to close the public hearing. May I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
So moved, Euchre.
Second,
Hooker,
Marks.
and a second.
Second, Marks.
Jake, Marks, okay. All in favor signify with an aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Thank you. Next item is the consent agenda. Titles on the consent agenda will be read by the village clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion or separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, would you please read the titles?
7A, approval of minutes from the village board meeting of November 18th, 2024. 7B, approval of executive session minutes from the village board meeting of October 21st, 2024. 7C, approval of semi-monthly warrant register dated December 2nd, 2024, totaling $931,346.24. 7D, the annual Village of Lake Zurich meeting schedule for 2025. 7E, ordinance granting a variation to allow for the construction of a porch within the front yard and a two-car garage within the side yard at 36 Park Avenue, assigned ordinance 2024-12-595. 7F, ordinance amending Title 8 of the Lake Zurich Municipal Code entitled Lake Zurich Building Code and adopting various amendments, revisions, and changes to certain chapters of the code, assigned ordinance 2024-12-596. 7G, affiliate agreements between the Village of Lake Zurich and Ela Soccer, Flames Football Organization, and Lake Zurich Baseball and Softball Association through December 31st, 2027. 7H, affiliate agreement between the Village of Lake Zurich and Lake Zurich Youth Rugby through December 31st of 2027. 7I, agreement for auditing services with Baker Tilly US LLP for financial periods of 2024 through 2028.
For the fiscal year